This is Gary Bauer in Washington, D.C. with some thoughts on the second presidential debate between President Obama and Governor Romney. You know, polling data this morning indicates that viewers, by a very narrow margin, thought Obama won. On the other hand, panels of undecided voters put together by several TV networks showed a strong trend in Governor Romney's direction. My own view is that Romney has won both debates by simply showing millions of voters that he's not the caricature of himself that Obama and his allies have tried to create with $700 million of negative ads. Now let's just take a second and zero in on the one moment in the debate that I think most frustrated conservatives. I know it frustrated me, the exchange on Libya. Here it is to take another look at.
I think it's interesting the president just said something which is that on the day after the attack, he went to the Rose Garden and said that this was an act of terror. That's what I said. You said in the Rose Garden, the day after the attack, it was an act of terror. It was not a spontaneous demonstration. Is that what you're saying?
Please proceed, Governor.
I want to make sure we get that for the record, because it took the president 14 days before he called the attack in Benghazi an act of terror.
Get the transcript.
He did, in fact, sir. So let me call it an act of terror.
Can you say that a little louder, Candy?
He did call it an act of terror. It did as well take 2 weeks or so for the whole idea of there being a riot out there about this tape to come out. You're correct about that.
The administration indicated that this was a reaction to a video and was a spontaneous reaction.
They did.
It took them a long time to say this was a terrorist act by a terrorist group. And to suggest, am I incorrect in that regard? On Sunday, your secretary, the ambassador of the United Nations, one of the Sunday television shows, and spoke about how this was a spontaneous reaction.
I'm happy to have a longer conversation about foreign policy.
Absolutely, but I want to move you on, and
okay,
also
I'm
people
happy to
can
do that
go
too.
to the transcripts.
It was frustrating that the debate was reduced to whether President Obama, in the Rose Garden on September 12th, the day after the attack in Benghazi, called it a terrorist attack. Obama claimed that he did. Romney said no, and Candy Crowley, to her discredit, said Obama was right. Later, Crowley admitted her mistake, of course, long after most viewers had gone to bed. Here's the key point that was lost in that exchange. For 3 weeks after the attack, in spite of overwhelming evidence to the contrary, Obama and his spokesman tried to convince the American people that the attack in Benghazi was the result of a spontaneous mob angered by an anti-Muslim film who killed our ambassador and 3 other Americans. On September 14th, White House Press Secretary Jay Carney said the attack was a result of the film and added, quote, "We have no information that suggests that it was a pre-planned attack," end of quote. My friends, that was a lie. That afternoon, when Obama went to Andrews Air Force Base to observe the return of our 4 dead fellow citizens, he did not refer even once to Benghazi as being a terrorist attack. On September 16th, U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Susan Rice, went on 5, count them, 5 Sunday talk shows and said, quote, "This was not a pre-planned, premeditated attack," end of quote. On September 18th, Obama, hanging out on the David Letterman show again, blamed the movie and said nothing about Islamic terrorism. And then on September 20th, Obama is asked about Benghazi and again declined to say anything about terrorism. He blames the movie again. Look, my friends, Candy Crowley or no Candy Crowley, Obama claims or no Obama claims, the record is clear. Contrary to Obama's deception in the debate and Candy Crowley's unfortunate and inaccurate interference in the exchange between Obama and Romney, the administration tried to deceive the American people for weeks and even now has not come clean. Most viewers, unfortunately, were probably left a little confused last night as a result, but the issue's not going away. In 5 days, the third and last debate will take place, and that debate will be devoted entirely to foreign policy. Governor Romney will have another chance to cut through Obama's intentional efforts to deceive. And I feel bold enough to predict here that he will succeed in that debate. And I believe as a result, he will be sworn in as the next president of the United States in January of 2013. This is Gary Bauer signing off from Washington, D.C.
Campaign for Working Families is responsible for the content of this advertising.